if you buy an SD card based on the memory capacity, then after watching this video, your mentality would change. You can see on the table I've got different SD cards. This is 32 gig. I also have here 32 gig. I have, so as you can see, 512 gig. I also have 64, 128, 16 gig. I recently bought a memory card online and I wanted to use it for this camera. Anytime I try shooting in 4K, what happens is that at a point in time, the recording stops and I get this instruction. So I was like, what I thought is the problem? There are a lot to it that I have to look at before buying a memory card. I didn't know this until recently. So you can see that I've got different memory cards and we're going to use that for demonstration. So as I said earlier, anytime I wanted to record in 4K, probably I'll use this memory card because I felt like it's quite a bigger space. And at a point in time, I realized that the recording stops. So I was like, what I thought is happening? Why is it that anytime I use this memory card, even though it's got a bigger capacity, the recording stops in between? So I began to do a bit of research about it. I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hello, I have different SD cards for my camera, but I'm not too sure of which one has a high function to keep my high quality videos or photos. Can you teach me the different SD cards and what to look for when buying one? Make your teaching simple and easy to understand, and if possible, include relevant pictures. Okay, so let's see if the information I get on here is much more relevant. So it says, of course, here's a simple guide to SD cards, what to look for and their differences. I'll include pictures where possible to make it easier to understand. So it started by talking about the types of SD cards you've got. So you have SD. So it stands for Secure Digital. So as you can see, standardized size, used in older cameras, maximum storage is up to 2 gig. Now let's see, we also have SDHC, Secure Digital High Capacity. It supports 4 gig to 32 gig, good for photos and then basic videos. And we have SDXC, Secure Digital Extended Capacity. Supports 64 gig to 2 terabytes, best for high resolution photos and then videos. So I've got this to be SDHC. Okay, so let's come on here, SDHC. So this is much more of Secure Digital High Capacity. So it's possibly 32 gig and it says it supports 4 gig to 32 gig. Okay, and if you should pick this one, it's also SDHC. It's Secure Digital High Capacity. So anytime you are buying a memory card, you've got to be looking at all this. Okay, let's pop that on here as well. Now this has got micro SD XC. So let's look at XC. So now this is XC. It says Secure Digital Extended Capacity, support 64 gig to 2 terabytes. So this is 128 gig. So any memory card that is above 64 gig or that is from 64 gig going should be SDXC. So I've got 64 gig on here. Let me just see if it's true. So this is a teaching from ChatGPT. Normally I learn most of my stuff from there. Okay, so you've got micro SDXC. Okay, so this is 64 gig. So let's put this aside. So this is SDXC, and then I've got this to be much more of the SDHC, high capacity. And let's look at this. So this is 10 gig I've got on here. It's also micro SDHC. So it says it supports 4 gig too. Yeah, so let's pop that on here as well. Now let's look at this memory card. This is 512 gig. There's no clear inscription as to whether it is SD, as to whether it is SDHC, or as to whether it's SDXC. So normally if you are not able to see anything like that, then that should tell you that the memory card is fake. So I bought this memory card, even though you can see that it's 512 gig. This memory card doesn't work. Anytime I pop it in my phone, it doesn't work. I've tried it with different cameras and it's not working. So if you're buying a memory card, you've got to be looking at all these important bits, because if you're not very careful, you buy at a higher price and then you can't use it. So this is 512 gig. I felt like buying this capacity would possibly help me to store more information, but as I said, you don't have to focus on the capacity. It's 512 gig. It's the biggest among all these memory cards I have on here, but it is not working. So just keep an eye on that. Be looking at some of these features before you buy. Okay, so now if you look at the different SD cards, I've grouped them. This happens to be the SDXC, this happens to be the SDHC, and yeah, this is just an adapter. Let me click this sample, and then this is fake. It has got no inscription, so you've got to be looking at that as well. Now let's go and then look at the key features to look for. First of all, you have to think of the storage capacity, and for me that is what I mostly base my purchase on. So if I go in there and I see it 128 gig, I think yesterday I wanted to buy one. When I went to the shop, I saw it was 256 gig, and I wanted to buy it just because I felt like maybe the 128 gig I use for this camera, it's not enough to shoot 4K. Or sometimes anytime it stops like that, I think the memory capacity is finished, but I check and then I've got enough space on there. So yeah, storage capacity is important, but that shouldn't be the major focus. So choose higher capacity. So normally what they've said is the higher capacity, we are looking at SDXC. So as you saw on here, SDXC has got bigger capacity. It supports 64 gig to 2 terabytes, best of high resolution photos and stuff. Okay, and it says example 128 gig or more for 4K videos. But the question is, why is it that I'm using this 128 gig? It's called SDXC, but it still doesn't pick up with my camera. It starts shooting alright, it starts recording alright, but at the point in time it stops and it says the speed of the memory card is not, you see that kind of instruction you see on the screen. That is what I get, and I think like there's something wrong with this memory card. Okay, even though it's got a higher capacity. Now you also have to look at the speed class. Okay, it's very important. You look at the storage capacity, which normally most of us look at. Okay, it's 120 gig, it's 128 gig, it's 256 gig. Let me go for it, but there's more to it. The second thing you got to look at is the speed class, important for quality. So it says shows minimum write speed, class 2 megabytes per second, low quality and outdated. So you don't normally see this in the system anymore. And we have class 10. So if you can see in here, you could see that we have 10 in a circle. This shows you that this memory card is class 10. Okay, class 10. Take notice of that. You can also see that we have in here class 10. Okay, you've got to look at that as well. It's much more, it's not in a circle. This is C. Okay, so let's be taking note of all this. C10. When you come on here, let's see if you've got, I can't pick it up, so let me just see. So I can't see. Okay, so this, I can't see any class on this memory card. I can't see any class on this memory card as well. Okay, I can't see any class. So this is something you have to also take into consideration. And it says that the class 10 requires a minimum of 10 megabytes per second, good for HD videos. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to be looking at, as much as you're looking at the capacity, the storage capacity, you also be looking at the speed class. It's very, very important. Okay, so this, let me still put this in the middle. So this has got class 10, this has got class 10, this has got memory capacity or storage capacity of 32 gig. And then when you come on here, this is 128 gig storage capacity, but it doesn't go any class. This hasn't got any class. So let's move on to look at the next feature. So we also have what we call UHS, ultra high speed, best for modern cameras. So now when you look on here, we have U1. It requires 10 megabytes per second. That is full HD videos. Full HD videos. Okay, and then we have U3. It requires 30 megabytes per second. That is 4K videos. So let's look at a bit of difference on here. Now when I pick this memory card, you can see that we have U. U stands for the ultra. Okay, so you have ultra 1 and then ultra 3. This is ultra 3. Then ultra 3, as you can see on here, records 30 megabytes per second 4K videos. So anytime I use any of this memory card or that, I don't experience that problem with the camera. So now you can see that in here it says ultra 3. This memory card has also got ultra 1. So possibly it's for full HD videos. It can't record 4K. This has got ultra 3. So it should be able to record 4K videos. But the question is, why isn't it recording? It starts recording alright, but at the point it stops, which means that there is something more to it than I think. Okay, so now let's pick this one. Okay, so this happens to be class 10, but it's U1, which means that it can't record 4K videos. So if I should put this in the camera and then start recording in 4K, it will start alright, but at the point it will stop, and it will say that the speed of this memory card is not matching up to the 4K. So these are a few bits and pieces you have to look at. And then the other features you have to look at is the video speed class for 4K or 8K. Nowadays it's very common for people to shoot in 4K. So if you are doing that, then you should be buying a memory card that has got the inscription Vin30. So this records 30 megabytes per second for 4K videos. And we also have Vin60 and Vin90, faster for professional 8K videos. So let's look at that feature. So now this SD card I can see has got Vin30. So that's the Vin30. And then we also have Vin30. So this can record 4K videos. So let's say I want to use this memory card to record 8K videos. Probably at a point it will cut. It can't record to the fullest. It's just because for 8K I should be having a memory card that has got the inscription Vin60 and then Vin90. It's just a connotation for the video speed class. You also have to look at the durability. Check if the card is water, temperature, and shock proof. So as per ChatGPT, these are the few bits and pieces one has to look at when buying memory card. So when you look on here, it says which card is best for you. For photography, you are looking at SDHC class 10 or higher. For HD videos, so HD stands for high definition videos, you are looking at SDXC UHS1 class 10 or UH1. Then if you are shooting in 4K, then probably you are looking at SDHC UHS2 U3 or Vin30 to Vin90. So let's say I want to shoot in 4K. You see that this memory card I have here is Vin30. We have class 10, we have U3, but it's much more of UHS1. So as you can see, I on here, each one of them is I. This is I. This on here, I can see is I. I can see it's I as well. So even though they've got other features as well, but just the fact that it's I and not II. Now reduce the speed of the memory card, and that will make your video recording suck. I think with this explanation, I've gotten a better view of what to look out for when buying SD cards, and I believe you have as well. Just be looking out for all these features and then know which one works best for you. Okay, so I'll leave the template for this in the description box if you want to download this, so that at least you know, you just familiarize yourself with it, so that when you go to the shop or you want to buy some of these stuff online, you can be looking out for these pieces and bits so that you don't buy any fake SD card. Okay, so for me, I've learned a lot based on what ChatGPT has taught me, and I believe that I've learned a lot as well. So yeah, if this video has been very helpful to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and become part of the family. Make sure that you are part of the agenda for hitting the 1,000 subscribers mark on this new channel of mine. Thank you very much. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye.